Time to brush your teeth, drink some Pepsi, and put on your best outfit because for our next Fire Emblem game, we're getting engaged. In September's Nintendo Direct, we got the announcement trailer of Fire Emblem Engage, and we got a release date for January 20th, 2023. I think most people were maybe expecting some Three Hopes DLC, which we actually didn't get at all, but that's mainly because we've heard zero things about the next main Fire Emblem game and since Three Houses' release. There was one leak as far as I know a couple months ago, and if you were privy to that information, then this wasn't a full-on surprise. Mainly the leak involved the main character's incredibly standout hair color and a look at a couple characters. It also talked about summoning older Fire Emblem characters to help out. As we saw from the trailer, that leak was 100% spot on. Emblem rings are the new gimmick where equipping different rings lets you sort of pair up with older Fire Emblem characters. We don't know the extent of the selection of characters, but we did have a character wheel, so I assume everyone on there is safe. The premise seems to be that the characters of our new continent, Elyos, have the power to summon and fight alongside heroes from other worlds. Those are known as emblems. Elyos is comprised of 4 nations surrounding a holy land in the center, and 1,000 years ago these nations fought together to defeat and imprison a felled dragon. In the present day, that binding has weakened, and we can assume the felled dragon will make a return. Pretty standard Fire Emblem plot. Interestingly, the whole summoning premise surely is reminiscent of Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile spin-off gacha game. Hopefully Fire Emblem Engage doesn't engage with the gacha aspect, but I assume this is the next main line game, and it's listed at the standard $60 price for pre-order. I want to go through the trailer and talk about some things we got to see, but first let's finish off all the plot details we got from the voiceover. Our main character, Alier or Aliar, look, there's a lot of names I'm unsure how to pronounce in this trailer, we'll iron it out later. Anyway, Alier is a divine dragon, apparently a part of a royalty who are revered as deities. They've been asleep for 1,000 years, and Alier only seems to partially remember the war with the felled dragon in the past. Alier mentions, "She asked me to gather all the rings and bring peace back to Elyos." This she, I'm guessing, is this lady, and decent chance she's some kind of dragon god, maybe the white dragon shown in the trailer. That would then possibly make the dark, menacing looking dude a humanized version of the felled dragon. Mannequins are a longtime staple of Fire Emblem, so no real surprises here. Let's now talk about all the fun things shown in the trailer. I think the most obvious eye-catcher is the graphical style. Extremely anime-esque, very bright, and our main character is certainly in your face for sure. The character designer for Fire Emblem Engage is Mika Picasso. Here's a piece of art from them to celebrate the announcement of the game's release. I do wonder if there's a reason for the clashing two-tone red and blue colors. Personally, I don't really mind the MC's look, but I understand that it's definitely different from the norm. Starting this trailer off is a huge Muro, giant white dragon intertwined with the black felled dragon. In the center are the 4 nations of Elyos with the proclaimed Holy Land right in the center. What's most interesting is the ring of characters. You'll notice these are some of our main protagonists from each main Fire Emblem game. Starting at the top, going clockwise, we got Marth, Celica, Sigurd with a lance, Leaf, Roy, Lyn, Erica, Ike dressed up in his brave attire from Faye, Micaiah, Lucina dressed as Mathmart with her bow from Faye, Corrin, and last, Byleth. The fact that we have designs from Fire Emblem Heroes is real intriguing. The plot of Engage having to summon heroes with the emblem rings is already similar to Faye, but now we just have straight Faye original designs being part of the game. That's kinda wild. The main reason you would think of them doing this is potentially because the emblem ring mechanics is based on weapon types, so the axe users and the bow or the archers gonna need someone, otherwise you got nothing. Just too many sword users continues to be a pain in the Fire Emblem as a series, and yeah, we're adding another one. If that is indeed the reason why Ike has Irvin and Lucina has her bow, then I would assume it's safe to say we'll get more older characters to fill in more spots. Hector and Edelgard would easily fill a spot for axes, Ephraim and Dimitri for lances, Claude for bows, etc. We'll have to see how many characters they're willing to add. Continuing on, we got a look at the felled dragon who seems to have a Cobra type vibe. I like it. We then get a bad looking dude who is probably also the felled dragon. He has a third eye just like the dragon form. If not, then I think it's pretty obvious this guy's still a main bad guy. Next up, we got a shot of Alier and a ring. We also got a shot of the white dragon, who again I assume is this lady. They are probably on our side, but whether that's good or bad is unknown. We then get some very good looking action scenes and 4 new characters. I hope the quality translates into the main game cutscenes. We got a guy with a sword slash into a wave of fire. There's a colorful girl swinging around her lance stuck in the ground, and a very proper looking dude with a very Dimitri-esque hairdo. He also wields a lance, and his name is Alfred. Last, we got our mature looking mage firing off a spell. I am guessing these 4 are vital characters to the plot because they are also seen on the cover art of the game. Elios has 4 nations, so I would bet these are 4 leaders or important characters from each nation. Next up, we have a shot of Alir summoning Marth via the emblem ring. Small note, but on the stylized mural from the opening, it featured the old school looking pantsless Marth, but the Marth in game looks like he's in his modern attire. He does seem to have a perma blue ghostly Super Saiyan type aura around him in every scene. It does imply the emblem ring heroes maybe aren't actually summoned to the world like in Faye. Perhaps it's more of a manifestation or JoJo's stand type deal. Next, we get what is probably the opening to the game. Alir wakes up after 8,000 years, and we got some weird corrupted enemies we gotta defeat. We get a look at 3 new characters, probably our starting cast. The big dude in the back is Vander, who looks like a potential Jegan. He looks like a pre-promo paladin, and he wields an axe in his fight scene. The pink girl, I believe, is Frame? She provides some neat info because you see her wield what is looking like a staff. However, on the overview, she has a staff icon and a fist icon. Later on, we see her punching an enemy with a weapon type called Iron Body Art. It also has the Brave Attack mechanic, so it looks like gauntlets might be returning in a sense. If you wanted gauntlets in Faye, they may have a real shot if it's coming back for another main game. Coming back to the boy in green, I don't believe we got a name for them. However, they appear to be our starting mage, probably a sibling to Fram by their looks. Moving on, we have our first real battle overview. This is where we get the MC's name, even if it's not stated in the trailer, and we can see that they are indeed a dragon child / dragon unit. We got all the good old Fire Emblem stats and 3 skill icons on the right. Looking at the party, we have Alir with a sword, Vander the axe paladin. Left side is Fram with her staff and fist icon. To her right is the mage boy with a Sigurd's icon. We then have a lance cavalier, who I believe is Alfred, with Mart's icon. Last in that row is a female mage called Celine with Celica. Bottom row is an archer, I believe, called 80. Finally, the axe infantry wielder doesn't seem to be named. Besides characters, you'll want to notice the color of the weapon types. They are similarly color coded like in Faye for swords, lances, and axes. However, bows and the 2 mages are colorless here. Fram's weapon type actually looks kind of yellowish in the background, but it could be colorless, we'll see. Moving on to the battle forecast, the color types are back probably because the weapon triangle is also back in the main game. If you only played 3 houses, weapon triangle was not as prevalent without certain skills, but it seems like Engage might have it active at all times now. The forecast is fairly simple: damage, hit rates, and crit rates. They also showcase the attack turn, and we can see Alir is doubling the enemy. I do like that they kept the running start for the unit initiating. Next is just a couple more battle examples. Vander slaps a dude with his axe. It seems like this mission has us saving Fram and the mage boy. You then have who I assume is the starting archer 80 attacking a flying unit. I'm not sure if bows are not effective against flying in this game or the forecast doesn't show it, but it doesn't have that usual different color. Either way, she KOs them in one shot. Next, we got Fram with whatever this new gauntlet type weapon is. You can see the 6x2 to symbolize a brave attack. After that, we have a new character, a knight called Lewis. Another new character is Chloe, a Pegasus knight, styling on some poor enemy with double 42 hits, and she crits them on top of that. I assume the hammer on the enemy is green to symbolize we can take it just like in other Fire Emblem games. After this showcase, we can see the new gimmick of Fire Engage. The emblem rings are equipable, and I'm not sure if you can freely swap at any point. They are bond levels associated with each character, and you can see Marth has his own weapon and a set of skills. Some come with type bonuses, perhaps if you use them with a sword unit. On the left, we also see the full list of stats. Some interesting ones are that perhaps BOD or build is coming back. I believe this is the same as Constitution in some games, but I'm unsure of how it's going to be used here. Alir seems to have garbage magic, so maybe they aren't a started magic user like Byleth. Maybe they'll be more set in stone. From equipping Marth's ring, it does look like you're going to get bonus stats. This might also mean the rings are an alternative to a pair-up system. In the battle example with Marth, Alir gets 3 separate attacks in the forecast, so that we don't get to see all 3 hits. Perhaps Marth is performing some kind of extra follow-up. We do also see a break mechanic, and Marth had a skill called break defenses. Not sure what it actually entails though. In the next example, Alfred is teaming up with Sigurd. You'll notice he gets +1 movement because of course he does, and people are saying the counter skill is the same as the familiar Kanto. We do also get to see Sigurd's override skill in action later on. In battle, the top left has something called momentum. That wasn't a listed skill, so perhaps that's a cavalry based mechanic for traveling X amount of spaces. We get a break in the action to explore the new hub world. From the top right, it might be called Somniel, and even Ghostly Blue Marth is just hanging around. I assume like 3 houses and 3 hopes will get to walk around, talk with characters, and do your in-between chapter preparations. If you look at the mini-map, there appears to be an icon for fishing, maybe the most important factor in getting the game. Something that might interest players is that there seems to be customization for outfits, not just 1 or 2 options either. We get a look at this character called Citrine and her noble jacket outfit. We learn she is Prince Alcris's retainer, whoever that may be. Citrine then equips the sunlit apron, and in the top left it appears there's a space for headgear as well. The next scene shows Alfred not in his usual fancy attire, so it does seem like you can customize appearances at least a little bit. I'm unsure how this applies to our new MC as well. Now, the next part is what is perhaps a big part of the game, is the Emblem Engage mechanic. In a very Tokyo Mirage Sessions type manner, Alear and Marth fuse into an even flashier and crazier looking design. We also get to see Alfred and Sigurd together, and then Celine and Celica. We didn't get specific details, but these forms look wild, and I will say that I'm a fan of the very flashy animations these attacks are getting. They also seem quite powerful. Alfred uses Sigurd's override skill, and you see him pass through 2 units and defeat both of them in one go. For Celine, we can see her get the Warp Ragnarok, and she moves hilariously far before attacking. I am curious if these are specific to each unit, like if they're specific unit to ring combinations, or if these are just general transformations. You also have to wonder the activation cost of these moves. I would assume they might be like gambits from 3 houses. I doubt you're going to be able to spam them over and over. Last couple of shots from the trailer show some closer character looks. We got what I assume is some main bad guy. There's another shot of the assumed white dragon girl. Then you got a shot of the fell dragon guy putting on a ring. Maybe the bad guys will get old Fire Emblem baddies as well. We'll have an epic shot of our main crew facing the fell dragon. These look like the 4 characters from the action scene earlier in the trailer, Alfred included. We then head into the cover art of the game, the title logo, and the January release date. For those that want to spend a little extra, there is also a collector's edition with some sweet artwork. There are even more characters on this one, I believe. We saw most on the left side of the trailer, and the 4 highlighted characters, including Alfred, are all really tiny in each section. The ones I don't recognize are the big lady in the top right, the girl on the right side with the striped stockings, and obviously the dude at the very bottom. Also not sure about the person to the lower right of female Alear. This is a neat poster, and I like how Fram's doing a very sweet kick as well. Fingers crossed the gauntlet or martial arts type's weapon is good and fun to use. Overall thoughts? I'm just happy the next Fire Emblem game actually exists. Literally heard nothing about what was coming for years, and while I wouldn't mind a genealogy remake, a new mainline installment is fine too. Hopefully they took all the good things from 3 houses and were able to make another solid game. Even though it was a spin-off, I did like the adjustments in 3 hopes, so I have some hope those will continue into Engage. One of my biggest gripes is that I hope the main character is allowed to actually be a character. I'm so done with these silent protagonists, like how they did by 3 houses, or how the traveler gets treated in Genshin. It's just dumb. I liked how they handled Ches, just do that again. In terms of story, I am interested if they plan to do another game with multiple endings. Those seem to be becoming the norm in Fire Emblem titles as of late. Gameplay wise, it looked like Fire Emblem, which is good. Besides the Engage fusion mechanic, the regular Emblem rings seem akin to pair up or a more noticeable gambit type system. Wonder if we'll have to face enemies using the same power-ups. A bit glad to see weapon triangle being more important since it's been a while. I am curious how it's going to work for the non-sword, lance, and axe weapons though. In terms of art style and graphics, I would say it looks a lot better than 3 houses. I think that would be a given though, considering it's been a while. Character wise, I feel like most of them fit in just fine with the usual Fire Emblem type fantasy world. It's really just Alear's hair color that is so drastically noticeable. I mean, even since the leaks, the game kind of just spells out the memes for itself really. Toothpaste-chan, Colgate character, the Pepsi Pro tag. You then have the very not subtle implications of Engage and rings being involved. Like, yeah, they really aren't shying away from those aspects of Fire Emblem in this game. In the end, Just let me use Ephraim or Dimitri in this game, I'll be happy. Thankfully, the game is slated to release in less than 6 months. I would have liked to have gotten some news earlier, but I'll take the in the near future release date. That's all I got for now. Let me know your thoughts on the reveal of Fire Emblem Engage. I'm sure there's a lot more to find out, but I'm happy the game is coming out relatively soon. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.